Hi, and welcome to Coding After Work stream. As per usual, before we start, we'd like to thank our amazing sponsor, Progress Telleric, because they have amazing Blazor UI components with over 80.
Over 80. They actually released today a new version.
Oh, yeah?
Still over 80, but there's a lot of new features and stuff in there.
Ooh.
So
Today?
Today.
Great. No wonder I didn't know about it.
So you should definitely check that out.
Yeah, definitely. And you will link that in the chat.
Yes.
Right, yeah?
And apparently we're a little bit drunk because we're out of focus.
That's... Well, there you go.
It's probably gonna fix itself.
Yeah, probably. When we start with C sharp.
Ooh, nice. Nice.
Well, that's for you to do, not for me.
And if you're not following us on YouTube, please do that. We would love for you to do that, and you will get notifications whenever we publish a new video.
At least if you click the little bell.
Yes. And if you're not following us on Twitch, if you're seeing this on YouTube and not following us on Twitch, follow us there as well.
Yeah, that would be awesome. So we have stuff to do.
We do.
Because we are working on our site.
Uh-huh.
Because it's not the best site in the world. It's not the worst site in the world.
True, true.
But we are using... I am blanking on the name. Bootstrap. And I'm not a fan of Bootstrap. Well, we did.
Yeah, sure. But
we did.
The actual site that is in production right now is using some I don't even know.
It's even worse?
It's like, it's WordPress.
Oh, right.
So it has all the frameworks.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah. So needless to say, we needed to fix that.
Yes.
And we needed to upgrade it to Blazor, and we need to do stuff.
So should we start with looking at the backlog?
We should. And...
That would be the full HDMI, I believe.
You see, you usually do this. And now we're all blurry again. And now we're sharp. Oh gosh, it's like my brain. Why my brain does that?
So, okay, so this was the stuff we did last week. We added a menu.
We did.
We added tags.
Bare minimum.
Bare minimum, definitely.
Basically URLs. Well, A
tag, yeah.
A tag, yeah.
We added tags to podcasts, and we talked about podcasts. We added YouTube. And we also talked about a project that we're working on with Blossom, which is a component library for Blazor.
Yep.
And we're not done, but we added some functionality that we could speed up the podcasts. So
we could actually. We could actually slow them down as well.
True.
Because there was a player.
But no one wants to listen to slow podcasts.
But it sounded so fun.
Fast. Okay, so let's pop into our backlog then.
Yes.
So we usually get 3 things done.
Yeah, for now, our speed is, or velocity is 3 items per sprint or stream.
But I know that we have this first item, add style to the menu. That seems like, well, that's just something. But we're going to do, or you are going to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
You're going to add styles. We're going to have a responsive menu. And I know you're going to show a couple of things along the way.
Yeah, because last time I met CSS.
Again?
No. Last time before this. Like, that was ages ago. Probably people we know weren't even born yet. And I'm not talking about the kids. CSS wasn't really my thing. You couldn't do that much. It was divs and divs and divs, and it was iframes and divs in iframes.
And I mean, back then, CSS was optional.
Yeah, definitely.
Having styles in the code was okay.
So I have done some research. Because I need to see what's out there, right? So I have found, my mind has blown, I don't know how many times since last week, last stream. There are so many things. I had no idea. I mean, I got a general idea when we had Ed Chabanau on, because he showed us some really cool stuff, like Flexbox and CSS Grid. But you can do logic in CSS.
Yeah.
For me, that's like, probably everybody knows this, but I didn't. So I have learned a few things. Not sure if people know this or not, but I didn't. So why not? I can show you.
Awesome.
Worst case.
So we're gonna add style to the menu. Let's just call it that. We're not gonna create another item for responsiveness.
No.
I think that's fine.
Yeah, and we need to go back anyway, because the way we work on our streams here on our page is do something so it's functional, then we can go back and revisit and do it all over again. And I know that the content page we worked on last time, I definitely want to maybe tweak that a little, because I've seen stuff. Why is the camera doing that?
I don't know.
Oh, we moved too fast. Yeah.
Might be.
Nobody wants to see us anyway. So
Go home, camera. You're drunk.
oh, definitely. Better the camera than us, I guess.
So we're just gonna do one thing, or actually we're gonna do three things, but
Yeah, but one item. I don't think it's... I think we will have enough. And I am the worst at taking notes. I mean, really... I have two modes. Either I type in everything like a manuscript and breathe here and well, a little bit like that.
you're just gonna faint on stage, and I forgot to breathe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or I put in just like a few words, and then I don't understand it. So I have notes on what I want to do today. I may or may not understand them, so I hope that people will be a little bit patient with me, because CSS is new to me, because we haven't met in, 15, 20 years or something.
Yeah. All right, so let's pop over to your computer.
Yes,
then.
welcome to my computer, where it's all bright and happy, and not like yours, dark and gloomy.
Dark and gloomy?
You mean your computer isn't dark and gloomy?
It's...
Don't you have the dark theme?
So Jessica was working late, preparing some demos, and there was a couple of flies that came into the to the room, to the office.
Yeah, because I had the screens on. I had two bright screens.
And I'm like, yeah, that's why all the real developer has dark theme, because they won't attract bugs.
Yeah, and the funny thing was, I was struggling with one thing just when you said that, so it was true. Yeah, don't like that. Okay, so let's start off with, should we just check how the page look right now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so let's do that. Let's see if I can do that on my computer. Sometimes Control F5 works on my computer. Sometimes it doesn't.
So while you're doing that, I just switched from sitting down to standing up. And I noticed that I moved the share over like this. Right? So check this out.
My gosh, every single
No, I don't
time.
think we have done this on Coding After Work. We think we talked
Okay.
about it in Mere Geeks, but look at
Okay.
this. This is the share. This is my hand.
If you
Visible.
stand behind it, you will get like abs.
Nah, I don't think so.
No?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So this is what we did last time. We did my favorite thing, center, center. So this is center, center, which is so easy to do nowadays.
Basically impossible a couple of years ago.
Yes.
Totally.
It's a nightmare. And you had to, oh, yeah, the memories. And this is what we called menu. And I think you added that. So there you go.
That's my menu. Let's
Yeah.
take a look at yours.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. So we need to go in here and let's make a header. And in that header, we want nav. And I need to look at my notes because that's how I work. It's my brain literally works like our camera. It goes from clear to cloudy. So sometimes I remember everything, and sometimes it's like, what are we doing?
Are we on? Is this live?
Yeah, something like that. It's I don't know why. I think it's cortisol. The stress of being live. All of a sudden, everything just go poof. So we want a nav. So we can have some navigation. And in that, we want whoops. Why is it doing that? There we go. Unordered list.
And this is, so we're using header.
Yes.
Which is not the same as head.
No. So I've learned.
And then we're using nav for navigation.
Navigation.
And all of this is going to help screen readers and all of that. We're using a semantic syntax that actually...
It's readable and makes sense.
Exactly. And we're not using... I'm guessing that a couple of years ago you would probably do like divs for all of this.
Yes.
But now we have nav, we have header, we have article, we have main and all of that.
And content and whatever you want.
To just describe the actual data.
Yeah, which is so helpful when it comes to screen readers and whatnot. So that's good. And if we go and look in our index page, this is our start page, the one we have here on speed dial. That's what I call Windows tab. That's the speed dial. And we already have your menu here, right?
Yep.
So let's move those over to the main layout and put them, well...
Let's move those over to the trash can.
No. We will actually, let's do that. Come on, I don't want that unnecessary spacing here. Line up. There we go. And we want another... What am I doing? I need to put this in a list item. List item. There we go.
You can't really blame my computer this time.
I know, because I'm using my computer. And I know it looks iffy out there, but I had that in my Control C. There we go. So now we have moved out the URLs into the navigation in a list. And I also think that we should add an about page and a home, which basically goes to the index page, just so we can navigate. So let's copy those two because I'm lazy. And
now you're doing it like a developer. No unnecessary
No unnecessary typing.
Yeah.
No, I've seen how you type, so I'm guessing I will be the same. So as little typing as possible. So what I'm doing here is I'm just using the slash because that's the start page, the page that it's loading out of the box. So I don't need to put index here, which is actually called, funny enough. And let's say about, we don't have that page yet, but that's fine. That's fine. And we call that about us, like so. So now we have a few things, at least. We also need the image, because we have the image here in the center class. But I'm thinking we should just put that smack in the header before the navigation. That way we can have the logo and we can have the navigation underneath.
Seems reasonable.
I know, right? We should, at some point, change the file, because the file is a little bit too large for my liking for mobile. But that's a tomorrow problem, not a today problem. One thing at a time.
You're talking about the image.
The image size, yeah. That's why we have a height on it. So it's, yeah, we will have to work around that for now.
We're not going to be done with the menu.
No.
Or the
but
header.
we will have the functionality and we will add on to that. So we can remove everything and we can...
So New Place 20 says, I ordered the new book from Mark J. Price.
Nice, thank you. That's awesome. Enjoy.
It has the raccoons.
Oh, it does have. You know what? We have a body tag down here.
Mm-hmm.
We can encapsulate that in a div.
So the @body tag takes the... So we have the kind of different levels. So the first level is going to be the _host file. That's where we start our loading our page. That page is then going to load the app. So that's the app component.
Yeah.
The app component has a reference to the main layout.razor. And the @body tag is where every single component is going to be rendered. So the index component is going to be rendered right there. Replace the @body.
Yeah, exactly. Which at first I had a little hard time getting my head around because it's called body, but it's not the same as just the body tag, HTML tag. So that was good to find out.
There's a lot of levels between the body tag, the HTML tag, and that body.
Yeah,
so it's kind of strange to call it that, but I think that's something. So the old MVC era of things also had these main layout files, and they were also called @body.
Yeah, so it's probably just inherited the name. It could could be called like content or something, but yeah. Component.
Rendered component.
Yeah. Well, now we're making it more complicated. Just call it body, and we have to work around that.
Body Series 7 Enterprise Edition.
Yeah, I know who who did that. Okay, let's see if I can. Oh, I can do Control F5 now.
Sometimes.
Yeah, so the issue I'm having with my computer is that I have an FN. My F5 is on the FN button. So I sometimes it doesn't work, sometimes it works.
So I would argue that this didn't make... I feel that this kind of looked worse than the one I did.
Worse?
Yeah, it's not centered anymore. Has some wonky typeface.
But what we did, it still has the wonky typeface. It did before as well. Nothing changed
I have no
there.
recollection of the wonky typeface.
So we had the image down here, and we had the URLs up here. But I'm not done. I promise. We will make this look better.
Okay,
At least
okay.
I will do my best. Which means we need to do some CSS. And wonky typeface, you say? So I've done some research. No, I didn't do research because typeface, font face, typeface, whatever fonts, whatever you want to call them. Actually, there are two different things. Let's not go down that rabbit hole because then we will not be a 90-minute stream. But I love, and I know you do too, sans serif fonts. The fonts without the little swirly thingies that completes the letter. Like this one, if I enlarge this, you see the little... No, you don't, because I'm in the way. Okay, so how do I do that? I do like this. There we go. If you look at the little U here, there's a little thingy. Well, a serif. And
sans means without.
without. Yeah.
So
So
we're taking
without
away the
the
serifs.
serifs, yeah. So I know you like Sego that Microsoft uses for their products. I like Verdana, I like Tahoma, I like all of those. But they're also not always available for all platforms and that.
Yeah.
And also some of them like Helvetica and stuff, you need to buy some of the fonts. So I wanted to find something that was somewhere in between. And I think that this one I found here, if we type coding after work like this, I think that the regular style down here looks really good. I think it's in between what you like in a sans serif and what I like in a sans serif. And
It looks kind of like Sego.
yeah, it's a little bit wider, but yeah, it's it looks like a lot of good stuff. So what I've done is downloaded this and converted that to something that's called a WOOF file.
Woof.
Yes. And I have, because I don't think you want to see me just copying files, I have actually put this in the dubroot or root file under font. So I have put a WOOF and a WOOF2. And this will compress and download with the site. So whatever, I don't need to care too much about what fonts you have on your computer because I am downloading that and providing that for you. Now, with that said, I'm providing two of them. I'm providing the WOOF2, which has better, it's more compact. And I'm also supplying the WOOF because that has a better, it's been around since what, I don't know, 2005, 2009, I don't know. Well, a long time. So basically all the browsers will support that. Now, I will say that you should probably put in a backup like Open Sans or whatever, and we will get to that at some point. But for now, let's
start
walk on the wild side.
Yeah.
So that's, I put them in there just to...
worth mentioning, there is, I wouldn't say it's downside, it's not that serious, but supplying files like this means that they are going to be downloaded.
Yes.
It's going to be more megabytes or kilobytes, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
To download these fonts. They need to be loaded and then shown. So there are going to be a millisecond or so where the default font is going to be shown.
Yeah.
So if you had a really bad internet connection, you might, as you say, make sure that your backup looks pretty good, and then it's going to be replaced by this one.
Yeah, or at least make sure that your backup is in the same family. So you have a serif or a sans serif. Hey, drone camera. I promise it's a camera, not us.
I don't know why it's doing that.
I won't actually do that today because we have a lot of things to do. So we will come back to that.
Yep.
Again, this is a learning process for me, definitely. But I know I'm doing the wrong thing. So do as I say, not as I do. I will do it. But for now, let's add in font face. And, well, it's actually, I'm doing the exact opposite because on my browser that I'm using, I think default is actually Times New Roman, which is with the serifs. So we might actually be able to see that if we're quick enough. If
the internet is slow enough.
If the internet is slow enough, yes. And if our browser don't have WOF2 standard, which I think it does. So this is called Swansea. Yes, let me do that. Okay. So the source of this is URL and URL. And we have the content. I remember this from putting in the image last time. We have the content / coding after work .components. Because if I remember correctly, we are doing this in, you see it's a Razor file.
Razor file.
But it's actually not a Razor page. It's a Razor component. So that's why this is called component. And it's called fonts. And then in there, it's called Swan, Sia. And for some reason, it's also called Q3.
Of course.
PD.woof. And let's do woof2. And we have...
We got a tip. We can actually use the developer tools in the browser to set throttling on the network, so we might see
that's a great idea.
The problem.
Yeah.
So what Jessica is doing here is that the underscore content is telling Blazor that we are looking for a file that exists in another assembly. The name of the assembly is codingafterwork.components, and it's in the www root folder in a folder called fonts. So www root folder is going to be the folder that is going to be unpacked, actually.
Here's a folder.
Yeah, so when the site is using the assembly, it's going to take all these files, put them on disk, and they can be accessed that way.
I'm cheating a little.
That's good.
So I'm copying again. Oh, it's just called woof. Because what I'm saying here is I would prefer that you use woof2, but the comma, I can say, but if it fails, fall back on this one. So that's basically what I'm saying here.
I want to add another thing here. Codingafterwork.components with a small c in this case.
Yeah.
So the actual assemblies with large C. Now, for Windows, it's not going to be case sensitive.
No.
But if we were to deploy this site to a Linux or Unix machine, that is not going to work because that's case sensitive. Ask me how I know.
Okay.
So that's a good to think about the casing if your intention is that you will ever run this on a Unix machine or a Linux machine.
That's good. A good tip.
It's actually a bug that we have in Blossom right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so should we reload and see if we can see a difference? Can we even see a difference when it's so tiny? I don't think so. Let's try anyway. Nothing happened.
Nothing happened. Nothing.
No, because I didn't build it and I changed in...
So you haven't set the...
No, I haven't set it. And where do we set that? Where would we set that?
Stacy says that has bitten me before.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So while you're doing that, Stacy had a question on the last stream that
Yes.
whether or not you can use the HTTP client factory in WebAssembly. And you can definitely do that. I had to look it up, and
Yeah.
apparently I did do that in my book. So I should probably have known
really?
that. Yeah. So you can definitely do that, and especially for WebAssembly, I should say it's a very good way to do that, because what we did in that project is that we have one HTTP client that is authenticated, and we have one HTTP client that is not authenticated. So for blog post, for example, that's okay to get without being authenticated, but changing the blog post, you need to be authenticated. So that makes total sense to me. I would say that in the WebAssembly scenario, that's where you want to use it. For the Blazor server, you might not need to, because you don't need to go through an API if you don't want to.
No wonder you thought your instinct said, well, you can.
Yeah.
So your brain works as mine as well. Sometimes it's just foggy.
The book is done, forgot everything.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I do. So in the body, we can actually set the font family to, well, actually we're setting it on the URLs, but let's just, because we have it here. Now, let's see if we can actually get it to work. No!
Okay, so why not?
Why not? I had the font
Font family.
The font family. Oops. That's not what I was searching for. What am I missing? This is starting out great. As I said in the beginning, CSS is new to me.
So let's take a look at the font. Font you added.
The font, here we go. The woof. Oh, you mean I might have done something wrong?
See. URL, content, coding after work.
Content coding after work dot components.
Fonts.
Is the
Swansea.
yeah, it's called. Here it is.
So click one of those.
Yeah.
Just take a look. Well, there are build action contents, so that should be correct.
Yeah.
So did you build it?
I'm pretty sure it did. Let's do it anyway.
That's always.
Yeah, that's still wrong. Oh my gosh, this is starting out great. Why? Let me check on this one. Do I have font? So I did set the font family. I set the body, because this is a URL, and I think that should be it. My gosh, why isn't it?
Did you add a comma at the end as well?
I think so. Let me look at that. Let's see. Yes.
Okay, so let's run it. Let's see if we can debug the problem.
Yep. And what do you mean by let's run it?
Just run it in the web browser.
Yeah, okay, so it's already...
So, and then we go into the developer tools.
Developer tools, let's see, here's... Oh, it worked. Sometimes the FN button is not...
and then I usually check the network.
The network, let's go into the network.
And reload the page.
Reload the page.
Here
there
we
it
go.
doesn't
So can't find
get
those.
the content. Why?
So underscore content. Did you add a
A slash in the beginning?
yeah.
Yes.
deleted. So content codingofwork.components.
Oh, you know what it is? I don't have them on my computer, maybe. Could it be that? Could I be that?
Yes, you have them.
Do I? Oh,
Yeah.
yes, I do. There they are. Components, root, fonts.
Right-click on the file. Let's just check that as well. Properties.
Properties.
There we go. And unblock.
Oh my gosh!
That's my theory.
Could it be?
Might be. Because that
I would have never figured this out. Oh, well, we don't know if it works yet. Okay, so let's get back here.
You probably
reload.
need to rebuild it.
Yeah, let's do that. No? Still, let me check, because it looks like it's still it says Swansea. That does not look like Swansea to me.
So let's check the network again. So reload the page. Let's see what we got. So it still can't find it. Okay. So click that one and right click. Let's see. I think it's there some kind of copy URL or something like that.
Copy link address.
That might work.
Oh, there is a copy C URL. No, let's do.
Just try that and just open it in another tab.
Oh, in another tab, like here.
Yep. Okay,
Nothing.
So there is no file. So codingofthework.components.
Why?
Right. So pop back to Visual Studio.
Visual Studio.
And right-click on codingofthework.components. And let's just do a rebuild. So we make sure that
rebuild.
It's actually new and improved.
Okay.
There we go.
And then we're reloading this one.
I think you might need to...
I need to build it again? No.
Yeah, you need to build the other project as well.
Oh, right. There we go. Let's see. Oh, we will have...
Yep.
Why? Why, though?
Okay, so let's take a look at... So we got content, _content.
Yeah.
So that should be correct.
And it's with a...
Components. Is that actually the name of the assembly?
I don't know. I copied this from the image I think we have. Let me check the image here. I think I copied it from this image. The uppercase change to the URL in the browser. Try the uppercase change.
So use the components with a capital C.
Okay, let's do that.
But that shouldn't.
But let's try it anyway.
Absolutely.
I'm open.
Since we are on Windows, that shouldn't be an issue. But
no, it's stopped working here. There we go.
It's definitely better to do that. No?
Come on! What's with you? I found this font that I'm very proud that I did not spend 5 hours looking for. When I mean 5 hours, I mean 2 weeks.
The name seems to be the right one, isn't it?
I can just copy.
You should have a capital C, so
okay.
that's...
So I can just copy the name like so. So we can be sure it's the correct. What happened now? Where did my other go? There we go. I want it to be on 2 rows. Yeah,
it's actually it's a D, not a P.
Oh my gosh! No way!
You turned it around.
No way! It's like Lego. I switch it around. Oh, that is seriously embarrassing. Okay.
You don't only change one of them.
I did? No, I changed both of them.
Oh, for some.
I'm very
Okay, I
fast
saw
in copy pasting.
Okay. So you switched the.
The P and the D.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So this is why you should never type things.
Yeah.
Never ever
Noted.
type things.
Noted.
So did it work?
Let's see. Yes! There we go. Still look like
We conquered the font.
font conqueror. I'm going to put that on my CV. And misspeller of stuff. I will not put that on on though. Okay. Whew. Yeah. So it kind of looks not good though, having them just like this.
It's better.
It's better. It's better.
We're moving towards a better goal.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
But I think that we should do some other stuff. Let's see. Let me pop that off. There we go. I don't like when stuff is in my way. And what are we doing? We are adding some navigation style. And we are doing that where I'm totally not reading my notes. Not at all. That's why I'm looking to this side. Where is that? There we go. Nope. Here we go. So let's actually, because of the reason that my brain sometimes works and sometimes I'm just like, what? Who did this? Let's just call this a navigation style. So I actually know what we're doing here. And in the header, and now I'm typing. Now I'm afraid I'm going to misspell everything. First of all, let's do a text align because you wanted it in the center, right? Mm-hmm. So let's do that. Ta-da! A little bit better.
Awesome.
Still, well, awesome is not maybe the correct. And now, this is one of the new things. Well, again, new because last time me and CSS was a thing was, well, we were never a thing, but we had a fling back 15 years ago or 20 or something.
Back when CSS was new.
Yeah, this was just before CSS 3. So you're welcome. I dated myself. So you know where I'm coming from here. So for
I remember internet.
Yeah, exactly. Back when we actually didn't have to throttle the network to show stuff.
Do you remember those GIFs that you could interlace? So they loaded one line at a time, and then I think it was a way to get color as the last step or something like that.
Oh my gosh. You're so old. So this one.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know exactly. This one, I never met before. Position fixed.
You fixed the position.
I fixed the position. And I am a little bit overly excited over CSS because, again, I had no clue you could do so much cool stuff. So what this means is, well, we can't really see anything other than that I had it move all the way to the left. But what's happening here is that it's fixed like in Excel. When you freeze the panes.
Of course, you gotta compare it to Excel.
I love Excel.
I know you do.
You can put in so much data. So this is actually frozen, so we can scroll things under, or in this case, it's under. And I had no clue. Again, this is probably common knowledge for people that do this, but for me, I was a little bit too excited. We can actually, if we put the background color, let's see if we can, if it's actually showing off. We can put a Let's do some, well, let's do the light blue here, or the Alice blue, whatever that is. Just to see how it's looking. So it's this, this part. Oof, this looks not great. But still, just to show where it got.
We all love Excel.
Yes,
except
thank
the
you.
row limit.
Oh, wow.
Did you hit the row limit?
Well, to be fair, we have a Coding After Work meetup member who have done amazing things
That's true.
in using Excel. He's done basically a whole web page. He could, well, a program.
Well, I don't remember what the actual program was, but
No, but he chose to do it using Excel instead of actually doing it with well, a more potent. I was so impressed because I had no clue you could do that in Excel as well. So I understand that you could
his
actually.
programming language was Excel.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what
Which
was
for
happening.
me is how. Imagine the logic you need to keep in your head. Whew. Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yep. Yeah, what I want to show here with the color is that now the header is not the full page, but we want it to be the full page, so we can put a width on it, and we can set that to 100%. So that would hopefully mean that we get it in the middle again, and it's 100%. Again, we maybe shouldn't have that color, so let's just remove that. We can come back to changing the color later, actually, which will not be that blue. Or ice blue. Alice blue. I don't know. Who's Alice?
I think she lives on the second floor.
No, that's Luca.
That's true.
So I've also learned about the Z index. Well, I haven't learned that much about it. Actually, I need to do like this. Because you can put things, I think Ed Shabana mentioned that on the stream we had with him. So you can put things on top of each other. And since we have made this frozen or fixed, we need to say that this is the outermost. This should always be, well, the top layer, if you will. Outer layer, maybe. And here you just put in an arbitrary number. This doesn't mean anything, so just to make sure, I will put 999.
So you're going to put this setting index to 626.
I am going to put the set index to 626. And for those of you who wonder what is wrong with us, is that this is from Lilo and Stitch. Stitch is the experiment 626, and I have a thing for him.
Ohana means font family.
Oh my gosh, that is such a missed opportunity! Whew. Okay, yes. Actually, let's set that color, and we can do that in the root, because I want it to stand out a little bit so we know it's a menu. And for now, I should say we're working on the mobile version. So really, I shouldn't have the page that big. No, not snap it. I didn't mean that. So let's just keep it half and half. I will be here forever otherwise. So
what is the perfect size of a window?
Yeah, I would do research, and there will be Excel and stuff like that. But we have in the root, we have put two variables. So we have the background and we have the font color. But we can also do transparent. Is this how you spell that? Transparency. color because I want to understand what I mean by this. And we do have some colors. We do have some colors in our, where's that? Where's that? Here it is. This is our color palette. So what we could do is just take one of these and invert them, just like we do with the media query. So if it's a light background, we take the dark one, and so on. So we should actually take the font color and make that transparent. But to make that transparent, I have found a little tool. So this is put in a hex value, convert it to an RGBA value. No, RGB value actually. So I can copy that because I'm lazy. And I can put that in, and I can also add the transparency. And I'm thinking we should have it a little bit, a lot of transparency on this one. And we also need to do the same for, where's that? Here, prefers dark. So we need to copy this because
I also believe that you need...
I need to put the A there, yeah.
Exactly.
There we
So
go.
that's A for...
I'm totally blanking. Alpha. The alpha channel.
That makes sense.
Whew. Like, opacity? No, that's not a thing.
That's not how you spell it.
Okay, so now again, we take the font color and we head over to this nifty little tool. There are probably a million better ways to do this, but for me...
Well, it solves the problem.
Yeah, it solves my problem. And we need to make that an RGBA, and let's try to do that in 0.1.
So doing the same exact things, just are we making it a little bit more dark, or what are we doing?
Yes, because we are using the font color, so we know it's a good contrast to the background, but we do it with transparency. So basically, it's 10% or
fair enough
of the font color. So let's just see how it looks. But first, we actually need to use that as well. Where do I put that? I need to put that on the... where was it? I lost it. Here we go. Is it there?
I think so.
Yep. Let's do it. Let's do it anyway. So now we can use our variable. So we say background. No, not backdrop filter.
Visual Studio sometimes helps you, but sometimes...
I think it was my fault because I was a little bit too fast.
So while you're typing, I can...
See, now it helps. Transparency color.
So at work, we are switching over to Visual Studio 2022. And my colleague just came back from vacation, and he started to adopt 2022. And he was like... 2022 helps you a lot. It gives you suggestions for
well, there's
your next
AI.
line. Yeah. And so he was typing something, and it just popped up the exact row that he was about to type. It wasn't obvious. It wasn't... It had a correct type. It wasn't obvious that that was the type that he was going to use. And he was like, What? How? What?
Yeah. What I'm doing now is making the browser think that it prefers dark, just to check. Mm-hmm. So we have this near black font color in 10% on there. I think it will be a problem later, but that's, again, let's do this one thing. So if I click on here and I go to more tools and I go to rendering, I get a lot of choices here. And down here, there's an emulate CSS media feature prefer color scheme. So I can say prefer theme light or prefer theme dark.
Ta-da.
So now we can see that here we have a near white overlay. It looks a little bit grayish. So it works on both.
We got a good, nice suggestion. So apparently in Visual Studio, the color panel does transparency too.
Oh.
So you can move your cursor to the hex color and then use control and space to bring up suggestions.
Nice. Thank you.
Then use the drop-down arrows to see the full dialogue and spot the opacity slider. That's
nice.
perfect.
Thank you. This is what I love with our community. I just saved the web. I was... Stop it.
You saved the web.
Yeah, all of it.
Yeah.
All of it. That's what I do. Okay. What else do we need to do? So we have the navigation style. We have the light and dark. And where were we? We were in the header. Okay. And that's about it. Okay. Should we move it?
Move it to where?
Well, it shouldn't look like this, should it? I think we could, especially not on a phone. So the reason that I want to start with the phone, even if the image is messed up, what we covered that in the beginning, we'll have to live with that for now. We will fix that later on. I just want the functionality of the menu to be ready first. So for a phone, this would be basically the whole screen.
Yep.
That's not good. And also, it makes no sense to have them like this. If it's a really small screen, I would rather have it in a hamburger menu when you can click and open stuff. And I found a nifty trick to do this in CSS with no JavaScript.
Of course you do.
I mean,
Of course you do.
again, how logic CSS?
And that's kind of that must be the goal in life without JavaScript.
No, that's your goal in life. JavaScript is fine. That was my favorite chapter of your book, which that was locally me. But still, that was the easiest chapter for me, I think, maybe, because I am no Blazor developer. But I did do a blog engine. Okay, so in main layout, I think we can do a little bit of work. Because we need a hamburger menu. And this might be look a little strange, but bear with me. I'm going to put an input of type checkbox, because we need to have something to click in, and because we can reuse this logic from the checkbox. And we also we also need to put in a class, and let's call that class. Oh, I was almost spelling with a capital letter, and I'm trying not to do that because I will never find out. Well, you saw how good I was with letters and misspelling things earlier.
So the nice thing with this solution, I mean, it's quite simple. If you're looking at the Blazor default template, for example, there is a menu that is going to be able to hide and show the menu, but that is done with C# code in the backend.
Yeah.
So what is actually happening at that point is when you hide the menu, it's going to going to call back to the server. The server is going to re-render it. It's going to push that change back to the client, and it's going to show the change.
Yeah.
But in this case, everything is done with CSS.
Yeah.
So You look so happy.
Yeah.
So all of that is removed. You don't have to go back. You don't have to re-render the page on the server. Now, fair enough. That's not a real issue. It's not going to be a
No,
problem in any
no.
way. But removing small things like that is always a good thing.
Yeah. And I mean, if you are good at JavaScript, do it in JavaScript. It will make more sense. Well, that's you. You are allergic to JavaScript, but everybody isn't. And if you are more comfortable with CSS as I am for now, I mean, I don't know anything about CSS really. I know this stuff, but then do it in CSS. And I want to do it in CSS because I didn't even know you could. We also need to put in a label so we have something to show. So we do a label, and we do that for the... Did it help me too much or did I help it? We put in the label for the nav toggle we just did. And we also... Oh, yeah, it's because there's no end to the label.
There's no end to the label.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. Now it will be more happy. So we do that. And we also need a class. And we can do a nav toggle label. I think we need to remove whatever stuff we have that's trying to help me. I think we have some old CSS stuff in this file. We need to clean that up.
So we still have Bootstrap CSS classes or CSS.
We're not using them.
No, we're not
but
using
they're
them,
in
but
the,
still in the project.
We need to clean that up. Okay. And inside of this, I will put a span like so.
I don't know if you're going to come back to that, but I believe you need to name the checkbox as well.
Yes. And this is... I can put an ID on it, actually.
Yeah.
And I don't have to. I could use the class, I think. But
the label is...
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So what we can do here, we put an... Let's do that. We put an... Why am I spelling in capital letters? We put an ID, and we call this, look at this, nav toggle. So I will give it the same name because I want the label and the input to work together. So I don't have to tell them twice, basically. And the ID actually has a higher specificity, which is a big thing in CSS. And it can cause issues if I don't know exactly what does what, and I'm changing in the class, but ID is higher, and and this brain will get foggy again. So because this is a label, just like you said, we need to have an ID, but I'm kind of overloading that. So, woohoo! There we go.
Less names to keep in mind.
Yeah, exactly. And also it will do the same if I just call it nav toggle. So it will be true for both of them. Okay. So now we have the Burke menu. We need to go into the CSS. And I think, where's that? No. There we go. And where are you? You are just under... Where did I put you? I don't even have it. Where's my transparency? Am I blind? Oh, here we go. I am blind. Where am I supposed to put this? See, this is what I'm saying. Let's just put it anywhere. Let's put it under the what? Under the center. Yeah, let's do it here. I don't even know why it means anything. So let's do it anyway. So we do a nav. Will probably come back and bite me.
Could you scroll up a little bit?
I can scroll up a little bit.
There we go.
And actually, I think we need to remove the hamburger. Well, the actual menu, so it doesn't show. But when we already started about that, we want the navigation to be in position, and we want that to be absolute, because the navigation will now be in relative to the image we have on top of it, well, which is above it. And let's do that. Where are we at now? How does it look? It's still, yeah, look at that. Because where's my little, whatchamacallit? The input checkbox. Where's my checkbox? That's what I'm looking for. So my notes said do stuff. And because we're on stream, I'm all like, oh, gosh, I can't find anything. So I'm just going to search for my check box. I don't even have a checkbox because I call it a label. I call it an input. There we go. It was an input. I didn't call it input. It was an input. I am totally blanking on this one.
Isn't it the toggle something?
Is it the toggle?
Toggle.
Oh, the nav toggle. Yes, yeah. I call it the nav toggle. There we go. We have a nav toggle. And now I'm messing with the stream as well. So where's my first nav toggle? I have a step 1. Where's this step 1? Okay. I don't even know anymore. And I think it might not even have any. Here's my nav toggle. I found it. I found it. Okay. So let's do nav toggle. I'm sorry about that, but my brain just doesn't work under pressure. Under light pressure. And I want it to be a display none because we want to toggle it. And we want the...
Could you scroll up a bit again?
Oh my gosh. Why am I doing that? Come on, scroll. Scroll. You can do it. And also, why did I put the nav toggle outside of the navigation style? There we go. And scroll up again. And we have the nav toggle label. Label. Like so. And the label, we again want to have a position absolute. And we want, no, we want it to be, the label should be up and to the left for now. So let's put it top 0 and left 0. And let's just see if this is making any sense. Do I need to build it again? Let's see. Maybe it doesn't have. There we go. Hey, we have light theme again. So you see, these are not. They are still a little bit centered, but we can work on that as well. But why aren't they? Where's my actual toggle? It doesn't even show my little nav toggle. Where's my checkbox? It should be just under the image.
So the nav toggle, you added the
Display none.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so maybe I went ahead of myself. So everybody in the world except me, probably, I don't know, knows this, but there's this amazing shortcut so you can comment things out. And that's Control KC in Visual Studio, and I love it because stuff. Okay, let's see if I can get myself. No, I couldn't. Yeah, there it is. Whew. I went ahead of myself. So here's a little checkbox. And now we want to add the functionality to that, of course. So where do I do that? No, I'm blanking again. Why? I should have a nav toggle checked because we need to check for if it's checked, and that's where the logic comes in. Yes, let's do that, and let's actually bring that up, and let's see. Here we go. I found it. Does that need to go under? No, yeah, let's just put it down here. Nav toggle checked. So if it's checked, and that's I think it's called a pseudo class, right? So it checks if the element is in fact checked. So have I ticked it? And here's something else I had no clue about. I can use a tilde and say nav. Let me just finish this like so. So what this means is that it's looking for the next sibling. So usually if we look at, do I have that? No, I don't have that. Where's my nav A? I should probably put in that. So if we look at something we don't have, we only have a space, we are looking for a nav inside of a nav toggle. Well, or an A in a better example. So we're looking for that inside of an element. Now we're looking for something on the same hierarchy, so a sibling, which I also had no clue about. So that's.
I had never seen the tilde in CSS.
No, it's cool. But I should have another one that actually does stuff. Yeah. Let's do that. Nav toggle checked. And this time we are looking for a nav A. So now we're getting really specific. We can do stuff inside here as well, which we'll get back to because we can do really cool stuff. Maybe I should have waited and put that in. But I still didn't get the check thingy. I am sort of panicking.
So we do have an option to lift in the CSS and then go through it.
Well, you could do that. But was that the one I put in the nav toggle checked? Yes. When do I check? I don't have anything here. This must be a fun stream to look at. I probably missed a huge step before this. Let's just start from the top and see what we got. Because for some reason, I decided not to print out notes on what to do. And that just came back and bit me in the hiney. We have those. And this is the hamburger menu we're working on right now. Why am I putting that back all the time? I don't even know. I must have missed a step. Okay. Should we just go through the, you think that's a better option to go through? No, because then we will have all the transitions and all of that. And my brain does not work when things don't go my way. So that's a problem. But I have a solution. Let's remove stuff. We can always remove stuff. That's always a good thing. I know how to remove stuff. Because I can't figure out where I did this. It was super cool. I was so excited and I knew exactly what I did until now. So we have a... It should be here.
So what are you looking for?
I am looking for... I want to... Oh... Yeah. Yeah. So you remember this one? Let's see if this works. No. Okay. I'm onto something.
But you haven't written any code in the checked state at this point.
No, exactly. And that's probably my issue because I want to check for if it's checked, it should toggle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And where's my toggle? Because in the toggle label, I'm just setting the position, right? So welcome to Jessica tries to find where to toggle stuff. That's what I'm working on. Okay. Toggle.
So it should be the one where it's checked, if I understand everything correctly.
Because this one will actually, I'm going to comment that out again because that will remove the checkbox from the display if it's still being checked. So we don't want that one. And where did I put it? Because this is just nav toggle checked. There's no more nav toggle, is there? This is just the transition. How can I be this oblivious to what I've actually done? And I don't even know where to go from this.
Okay, so it's like 8 minutes left 10 minutes left on the stream.
Okay, so I can figure the toggle out for the next stream.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I know you had a question before when we were talking about well, I was raving about stuff. We talked about M's and rems, and we have used those in the CSS on some places. Like here, we have a rem, and there's probably an M somewhere in here as well. And we didn't know what that was.
Had no idea.
Had no idea. But do you want to see what it is?
Yes, please.
Because I have actually prepared a demo that I have copied the code in here. So I have learned now, don't type on stream.
True.
Because you will misspell, and the browser doesn't like that. And also copy the code in so you can just do stuff. So I'm actually doing it on the index page so I don't break anything. So let's build that and go to the web browser. And whew, this looks great. Have faith. Have faith, because we will go into the CSS. If we go to... Okay, let's start with this. M's, EM, that's, you can set sizes. You can use pixels, you can use M's and rems and what have you, view heights and what have you. And M's comes from the print world, like where you actually print on paper and stuff. And it adds all sorts of things. But in the web side of world, it's just a way to set a font size. So it's a font size. And if we set a font size with M, it will be in relation to that parent. So generally speaking, it's usually 16 pixels because the browser defaults most browsers defaults to 16 pixels. And I know mine does it at least, which you can of course change. So that's one way of doing it. Well, let's going all the way down here, and we have some M's and rems stuff to show.
Now rems, I know what those are.
No,
those will remove the things, right?
No, not really. But actually, we should put everything down a little bit. How do we do that now when I've missed everything up?
So the easiest way, I assume, is just to, well, rem the menu. Just remove it for now.
Yeah, that's let's do that. So let's bring out the like so.
There we go.
And let's rebuild it. Well, not the web. Let's rebuild the actual. There we go. Here we go. So we have M's on the left and we have rems on the right, which we can see here. If we can remove that. So in the index page, we have a div. We have an H1, so a header, and we have some paragraphs. And then we have another div and another header, and these are identical, apart from this being rems and this being, well, actually, it's the class rems and M's. So that's the difference. Look exactly the same. This should be 16, so if we actually check that, we can do an inspection, and it's set at 16. And this should probably be 32 because it's twice as large.
Sounds reasonable.
Yeah. And if we do uncomment that one. So we can set the font size on the header. Right now it's 2 times the size. And we can set the size on the paragraph. No issues. That's the same. We can change this to be 3 rems, which means it's 3 times bigger than the root of.
So that would be 3 times 16.
16. Yes, exactly. So if we save that, we should actually see that this now is 48 pixels, which is 3 times 16.
It's good that you said that.
Thank you. So let's do the same for not that one, the other side. So we have. Why am I pressing Control I when I'm trying to do stuff? So now they are identical again. That's not anything. Now we can. So the parent decides on the font size. But what we can do is actually set the font size over here as well. So we can say font size, and we can decide that it should be 10 pixels. That's what we are working with. We want nobody to be able to read anything, so we set it to 10. Now, EMS is, of course, the parent of these two because it's inside of that. So what's happening now? Let's see. This should be 10, and we can see it's 10 pixels, and this is 3 times 10, so now it's 30. So it's going all the way. But there are a little. There might be some issues with stuff. For instance, they are compounding the M's, so that means that they are built on top of each other, which can be a little iffy sometimes. So we set this to 1 EM again. And now we should get back to 16, which we have. We have 16 over here, and we have 48 again because that's 3 times 16.
Right.
Yeah, no issues. However, if we put a 2 here, we now should have, 16? Because we, I mean 32, because it's 16 times 2. Now this will be 16 times 2, which is 30, no, times 3, which is 48. And then it actually times 3. So it will be 32 times 3. So it's following along here. But we can make this worse. So now we put this at 2 and this at 2. And I mean, when we put it at 1 and 1, it was no issue. But all of a sudden, this is 64. And this is 96. So it's 64 because we are saying 16, because that's the browser says 16. Well, actually, it just goes up the level, so it's HTML or browser, whatever is higher. So it's 16 times 2 times 2. So it's kind of
huge.
Yeah, it can be a little iffy. So if we go back to actually look the same as the other one, the rems. So now they are equal again. Now rem, from what I understand, actually came to life because we have this issue. So we tried to resolve that issue.
You tried to resolve the M's.
Yes, rems. No, actually it stands for root. So it root M's. So you can, it always looks for the font size in the HTML tag, like the top
Okay.
Or we can do it in the root as well, the colon root, where we set our background colors and stuff like that. We can also, it also looks there because that's the root basically. So we can do the exact same thing. We have 3, we have 1, we can change that to 2. And we see here that it's 2 times 16, which is 32. We can also go in and say font size. And let's set that to 2 rems because we did that on the M's. Why are you angry?
Because it's rem, not rems.
Oh my gosh. There we go. There we go. Nothing happened. It
Nothing
should be
happened.
64 by now.
Yeah, according to the rules you just set up with M's.
Yeah, exactly. So font size 2 M's. Like so. The code is basically the same, but it's actually just going up to the root and checking there. And there you, of course, can check that as well. And this can come in very handy because you can use this for other stuff. You can use it for padding, for height, for margins, and 10 million other things, as long as you remember the compounding. Because the M's, they will still look at the padding or in the difference, I should say, isn't that it's not looking at the parent's font size, it's looking at the same element. So if you have set of a font in that element, it will take 2 times that, not 2 times its parents.
Okay.
And with rems, it's 2 times the root. So that can be kind of cool when you do margin. So we can actually put in margin just to show that. So again, we're back to the starting point when everything is nice and clean, and we can put in the rems. Let's put a margin bottom on the H1. So it will have a larger margin downwards, and we put that to 1 rem.
So that would mean 16 pixels.
Yes, because our root is 16.
Yeah.
So it should be a gap here of 16. So if we look here, it says actually margin 16 pixels on the bottom. But if we do that on the other side, we do margin bottom, and we set that to 1 M and not rem. This will be doing the same thing, right? Or its parent is actually up here. So it will take the 48 pixels we have on the parent, being the header. So it will be 48 pixels. So this is the difference. And that can come in very handy to know that we can always fall back on rem if we need to have things a little bit more controlled and want to work off our base font size.
So from what I'm seeing that rem is going to help us, it's going to be logical,
Yeah.
and M is going to make us suffer. That's basically what we're talking about here.
Yeah, well, depending on what you do, yes. Sometimes you just want it to be, you want to be able to
You
do
just
stuff.
want the world to burn.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about.
Yes.
Use M's then.
Well, with a little knowledge about this I think rems are really good because you always know what you get. You know it will always be the root number, which is usually or generally 16 or whatever you set it to. So that's. But there are places for M's as well. We actually do have some M's from that we used last time. But we might have to go revisit that to make sure we're controlling things.
All right. So let's pop back to my computer then.
Oh, look at that. Inception.
Let's do, let's pop, there we go.
Yeah, so we kind of didn't do all of this stuff. We should have broken that up, shouldn't we?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But fair enough.
Especially,
so
I shouldn't...
we did add the style to the menu.
We did add the style.
So that is done.
Yeah.
So let's...
it's just the...
let's put Jessica.
Mobile things. I totally messed up. And note to self, make stuff appear in your real project, or don't make one messy, large CSS file.
Add responsiveness to the menu. Some responsive. Is that right? Did I spell that right on the first try?
I don't know. There's no squiggly lines. So let's go for it.
I just want to say that. So this is a kind of a long sentence, and I didn't type one single letter wrong.
That's impressive.
I'm going to add this to the bottom quickly. But so I think that there are a couple of things that we need to do to get this site ready for version 1, basically. And that's the menu, and we need to style the pages, and we need to have an about page. So I think we're going to put this on the top, because adding responsiveness to the menu is still our number one thing.
Yeah.
Style the content pages. We can go live at that point, but it would be nice to have the about page as well.
Yeah, and I think the about page that wouldn't require that much other than copy some text. Because we have the menu and we have the padding when everything is done. If I can unravel whatever I did with this CSS file.
When it comes to, let's see, I'm not seeing the. There we go. So next Thursday will be the 12th. So it's possible if we look at how the .NET 6 has been released the last 2 times, it's about in the middle of the month. I don't know if that's going to be true for this time as well, but if we got preview 7, we are going to go to .NET 6.
Yeah,
definitely going to do that.
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. But on the 12th, I think it's a little bit too early. So I think that will be on
the next one.
The 19th, yeah. That's a little bit more reasonable to think.
And worth mentioning, while we are standing here with a backlog, please join our Discord. We have... it's not a very active one, but...
No, but you can put suggestions.
Suggestions, questions, all of that stuff. Follow us on Twitch if you don't do that already. Follow us on TikTok.
We don't post that much on TikTok.
No, that's true.
Not yet. Yeah. We have plans. Any day now. When I need to unravel whatever mess I made of this CSS file.
So what we're thinking about is to answer Blazor questions on TikTok.
Yes.
So if you think that would be something useful, there is a question and answer thingy, functionality on TikTok where you can ask questions and then we can go in and answer them.
Yeah.
Or anything.
Not for CSS.
It could be.
For the CSS, I've mastered. Ask them about rems and Ms.
So you're telling me that if you got a question about CSS, you wouldn't be able to find the answer?
Find the answer, absolutely.
Would you be able to find the answer
If it's not do these 3 times in the same CSS and try to keep track of what you're doing, then I would be fine.
You only have 1 minute or 3 minutes.
Yeah, but I mean, if the question is,
Yeah.
could you do these 3 stuff in the same thing, and well, it gets messy. I messed up.
So until the next time, next week, more Blazor, more CSS perhaps.
Yeah, I need to unravel this. I need to get my revenge. Revenge on the responsiveness.
Yeah. So we're gonna pop back to your computer because I'm going to end the stream on mine.
Awesome.
So until the next time.
Bye.
See ya.